Hi. Well, sorry to say for me, it's maybe time for me to part from my Evo 10. I've owned it since 2014, so I've had it for coming up to 7 years this year. Stuff I've done to it, I had a new clutch, I think about 30,000 clicks ago. Put a stage 2 in there, it'll take 450 foot-pounds. Recently did, within the last couple of 100 kilometers, did new rotors all the way around. Front and rear, obviously, and pads. Replaced all the relays for the fan because the fan stopped, was intermittently working. Turned out to be relays. Had a starter motor relay failure as well, so obviously they must have had a bit of a dodgy relay set at some point. Yes, the car is tuned. It's hard piped, obviously K&N, tuned by, if I get this right now, Highboy. I think the guy that has the dyno at Vex, he tuned it up. Never really caused me a problem. Adjustable maps for 94 and 91 octane. Runs 22 pounds of boost. Apparently that's in excess of 300 horsepower at the wheels. Yeah, it's been a fun car. Presently running on winters. I do have the original wheels, but the tyres are no good in it, so if you want summers then you'll need to swap the tyres out. Has an aftermarket exhaust. Not too sure whose that is. Can't really tell you. Had the AYC pump replaced by Mitsubishi under warranty. So it's had a new AYC pump. When we did the AYC pump, we obviously also did all the fluids. Well, we did the AYC pump pretty close after the gearbox. So we did the gearbox, transfer case, and rear diff fluids have all been changed. Red line, red line in the AYC, obviously. Yes. Was plastic dipped white. There are a few little bits that I haven't managed to clean off yet. Main reason is in places, like you'll see, we're trying to get a lot of the debris down here. The lacquer, the clear lacquer, is peeling off in places. So realistically, mechanically fine, runs great, but the paintwork is not the best. No dings or dents. There is one minor crack, I think, in the lower half of the diffuser bumper section, just here. There we go. There's one crack in that there, but realistically, yeah, it's just the fact that you can see some of the still plastic dip still on it. Yeah, the bonnet's probably the worst part because most of the clear lacquer's come off. Now it's not because it's a bad paint job. Literally, Mitsubishi tried to save so much weight on this car. It has like an aluminium bonnet. I'm pretty sure it's got the aluminium front wings. It also has a plastic roof section. This roof piece here is metal. It's plastic. The car gained about 100 kilos, I think, from the previous model, and they tried to basically negate some of that by making a lot of lightweight stuff on it. And unfortunately, they kind of lightweighted the paint a little bit too much. It's common fault that if you don't really basically add some lacquer to the damn thing, they all start to have the same kind of issue. This has obviously never had any paintwork done to it other than the plastic dip applied. And yeah, it needs either a paint job. If you're not fussed about that, obviously for £2,000 you can get it vinyl wrapped, or you can plastic dip it yourself for probably about $1,000, which is obviously what the last guy did, who was I think the second owner. I'm the third guy. Yeah, I've really not done any mods to it as per se. I did add, I drove it all the way to Vegas. At one point went to SEMA, so we put a sat-nav screen in. It's a Japanese doubled in, so it has kind of a weird fascia to it. It has an aftermarket TPMS, an orange TPMS system. This model only has like the one light that just comes on. Doesn't give you any information whatsoever. That orange TPS system gives you tyre pressures and temperatures at all times. and obviously the yeah, radar detector, a must-have. There's air fuel ratio, and I can't think on boost pressure as a separate gauge. Does have a reverse camera setup, but I think there's a minor electrical fault somewhere at the moment, so you might need to replace the camera itself. The wiring's in the boot, it was all transferred through. So yes, I've done, what was it? I'm trying to think now. I think it was 140,000 when I bought it. I've done 50,000 on top of that. It's got about 191,000 clicks on it at the moment. So when I first bought it, I literally drove it all the way down to Vegas, drove through Anaheim, we went to Disney, went to Vegas, went to Phoenix International Raceway, watched a NASCAR race and drove it all the way back. It was just faultless and just fun. Raced a few things up to 100 miles an hour, and yeah, not much stock stuff keeps up with it. It's just fun, you know. Top speed on these is about 155 mile an hour, I think. Basically that's gearing limited, that's not aero limited on these things. They will literally hit the rev limiter at 7.1 or whatever it is in top gear. This is the GSR, so it's 5-speed manual. It obviously has air conditioning, cruise control, and all that blah blah. And obviously it's the Evo, so technically it has the large Brembo disc brakes front and rear. What else can I say? Oh, it's got a God, I can't remember that. Yeah, I can't remember the make of that dump valve. Whatever. It makes the sort of flutter noise. Yes, it's kind of geeky, but yeah, you know what, I kind of like it. It is. Yes, I'm sorry to see it go, but I've got other projects at this point. And to be honest, I just haven't used it the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. I've probably only put 1,500 kilometers on it. It just seems a kind of waste. It'd be good to take the money from this and put it into the next project. So I bought it as a driver. I use it as a daily. Yes, I've used it through at least 2 winters. I use my truck most of the time now. But yeah, I need to pull some money out of this and put it into the show car that I've got. So yeah, it's a daily. It runs great. What can I say? I've got one friend who's interested in it, but unfortunately the last couple of months he's not managed to sell this stuff, so can't wait anymore. I've got to sell it on. I've also got another friend who's just gone into SATE, who's kicking himself now because he wanted it as well. Yes, anyway, so 08 GSR. It's got the slightly wider wheels, 265 profile tyres. Had the rear arches rolled because it was just clipping, so rolled the rear arches. Yeah, that's about it. She's interior's pretty reasonably stock. Seats aren't worn through. Needs a good clean. Excuse my manners on that. Should have really given it a damn good clean. I will give it a good clean before somebody comes round. Yes, stick a video in the back. Blah blah. Yes, there's the back. Yes, boring. Okay, and we'll have a quick one in the boot. There you go. Lift her up. And now we're just charging the battery this morning, so put that caddy back on. There you go, and there's the boot. Not particularly inspiring. Obviously, being an Evo, the battery's in the boot here, and you have the washer bottle, so the washer fluid's in there, and to the right hand side here you have the AYC pump fluid. So, Evolution. It's just a fun car. I think crank horsepower about 350, 360. If you're from the UK, it's about the same kind of spec as an FQ360. If you don't know what an FQ360 is, then you're obviously not an Evo person. And don't ask what FQ stands for, because even Mitsubishi wouldn't tell us that. I actually used to live right next to the Mitsubishi Rally Art place in Rugby back in the day when Tommy Mackinnon used to race. I used to see the Evo 4s and 5s and the 6s drive around my local town, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Evo 10, awesome, way better than the STI. I'm sorry, I don't care, Subaru owners, it's just better. The thing is absolutely ballistic. Come round, I'll take you for a quick test drive. let you drive it, but obviously you've got to be careful with this thing, because if it ain't dry, then this, the boost can kick in. You can quite easily slide the back end. So but to be honest, yeah, it's an ultra safe, and it's an absolute missile. But I'll miss it, but I have to move on. I've got other projects I need the money for. So anyway, if you're interested, let me know. Give me a shout. There'll be Facebook. You'll probably have to send me a message before you can get my telephone number, because I can't put my phone number on Kijiji. You'll know the number because my number will be on there. Yes, that's kind of about it. Oh yeah, asking price. I'm asking 14,750 at the moment, so I don't think that's too unreasonable. We'll go from there. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching the video. Speak to you soon.